Pick 'em pie, big gun Brian Petrie, giving out the lot. One is mortal, you know it won't miss. Gonna take a shot. Dog lock, that's the underdog. Yeah, they in the hunt. Send them home, that's KO or submission. Yeah, somebody done. Slime ball, yeah, that's the parlay. We gon' make it known. Pick 'em pie from MMA tapes. Yeah, let's get it going.
Yeah. Episode 15 of Wednesday motherfucking takes. What's up with the what's up? We got a pretty good show. I got a couple little things to talk about here, boys. First and foremost, off the top, what's up with the what's up? No, I want to apologize to the people. I get a lot of DMs on fight night, and I don't necessarily get back to those DMs. I'm not trying to slight you. I'm not trying to ignore you. I got a lot going on fight night. I'm like through group chats. I'm placing my bets. I'm trying to be funny on Twitter. Yada. So I don't get back to everyone. So I apologize. But this Saturday in particular, right when the fight started, if you guys don't know, I've talked about it a little bit. I got to have a procedure on my left ear next Thursday, a week from Thursday, the 11th. And it's just basically it's an outpatient. They're going to fix bones in my ears. It's called a mastectomy or some shit like that. Right. So I had an attack on, I guess that's what you want to call it. On Saturday, right when the fight started, my ear started killing me. It was filling up with fluid or whatever. I mean, it was intense pain. The only thing that could help it was I'm sticking my finger in my ear. So I'm getting DMs, I'm getting tweets, and I'm trying to get back to you and trying to be a normal guy, but I'm in intense pain. And then eventually 3 hours later, I took some Tylenol or whatever, but 3 hours later, my ear just clogged up and I haven't been able to hear shit out of this ear. I'm deaf, you know what I mean? And that's obviously one of the issues what I got to get fixed, and also I have big inner ears. And ladies, you know what they say about big inner ears, don't you? Big old fat dicks. That's right. That's true. That's a true stereotype. I'm willing to accept it. I'm willing to live with it. But I just want to apologize to the people I did not DM back. I had a couple on Instagram, a couple on Twitter. I'm not sliding. I'm not big shotting. I'm not Hollywooding you. That's just kind of the situation. Usually on fight nights, and this fight night in particular was kind of. So before we get to the full recap, I want to talk about my tattoo. Shout out my tattoo artist, Tony Buke. I do have it covered up. I will. Right there. There she is in all her glory. Oop, this way right here. Got her finished up, right? That little motherfucker down there. Oh, that little elbow bit. Oh, boy. But we got her finished up. Problem is, the last time I got my tattoo, I got the front of it done. I didn't follow the directions on how to take care of it. And I had a scab. It wasn't infected, but I had a weird scab in the front. And it kind of ruined the front of the tattoo on the very top. You have to get close to see it. So this time I'm doing the right stuff. I got my tattoo goo, not a sponsor. But I've been doing the right things, and it says, if it's rubbing a lot, covered up. So I tattoo gooed it, and I'm rubbing a lot on the fucking desk. So there it is. Here's the funny thing about tattoos is I haven't finished this in 2 years, right? And I got a new tattoo artist. The guy started was Carter. Now I'm going to Tony, who's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He trains at Club MMA. We just sat there and talked grappling the whole time. And he knows a little bit about MMA, but more so grappling, which I'm a fan of as well. So that was really cool. But they hurt. Tattoos hurt, right? If they didn't hurt and they weren't so expensive, my body would be covered in them because I've been obsessed with tattoos since I was a kid. But the plan is to get this whole thing sleeved out, right? So he starts working on this, and after the first couple of passes of the color, I'm like, holy shit, this hurts. I forgot how bad this hurts. I don't know if I want him to finish up top or even start. This fucking hurts. And then he got to the elbow, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to black out. We're talking Gordon Ryan and shit. And he went down to B team and trained. He's been to Henzo's in New York, and I'm just sitting there, giving him one of these. Come out trying to cry in the chair, trying to be a big boy. But man, when you get down near that elbow, whoo boy. And then, so in my head after the elbow, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to keep the quarter sleeve. I'm just going to go this. I'm not going to touch up here. I said the next tattoo I get is going to be a little tiny one. I ain't doing, my wife's got a bunch of micro tattoos all over. I was like, I ain't doing this. And then once you settle in, then all of a sudden it's he starts coloring the flower and stuff. I'm like, oh shit, this ain't so bad. Oh, and then I get to start seeing the progress. I'm like, oh shit, this looks fucking dope. So yeah, so I'm obviously gonna get more, but it's a up and down tattoo thing, man. It's like they hurt like a motherfucker, but man, I love the way they look when they're finished. And I finally have an idea, a final idea. I'm gonna have to run by Tony. You know, he's obviously got to draw it up of what I want on my upper arm, which is gonna look fucking, I think, sick. And it's gonna take this baby face to just a fucking monster. You know what I mean? No, so I wanted to talk about that real quick. That's why I'm still wearing the sleeve. Again, I don't think I'm Allen Iverson. I just don't want it rubbing on the table because it's scabbing. We're at the scabbing part of the tattoo, yeah? We're at the scabbing part. All right, here we go. Full recap, UFC 303. We're going to breeze through. I bodied Christian in our competition. I mean, absolutely bodied the young fella. You know what I mean? I love Christian. We have a good repartee, right? Great show. Another thing, I gotta apologize. The audio is messed up. If you want to listen to the show, you got to go to YouTube, watch the live portion of it. I had to get a new SD card. I apologize. Hopefully it's working. If it is, you're listening to this or hearing this. Anyway, I bodied the young man. You know, he's all in jiu-jitsu. I put him in a Darce truck. Took the fucking strap. Took the strap from him. It's actually pretty close competition. Came down to the main event. I was on Pereira. He was on Yuri. We all know what happened after that. But my slime ball lost. Maya Buena Silva I went 2 for 3 out of my slime ball. She got the cut. The minute she got elbowed, I saw the cut. I'm like, fuck, we're done. We're done. BP doesn't know chicks. That failed me there. I was going to put Philly in the slime ball parlay. He scraped by against Cub Swanson. Fight, I don't know necessarily won, but he won. But then we hit Pfeiffer and we hit Poton, but missed on Silva. Slime ball done. What are we on the year on the slime ball? It's not fantastic. In my book here. 7-14 on the year in slime ball. Okay. Went for 2 for 3. And then my Green Hammer, back-to-back weeks of Green Hammer. 9-12 on the year. It was Poton by knockout. My camera keeps, every time I look down, it keeps, what are you doing here, camera? All right, let's see. I don't know what I'm doing. I just turn the wheel like that's going to fucking do something. But no, I guess I got to quit looking now, but how am I supposed to look at my notes? What the fuck? Anyway, Poton by knockout was my Green Hammer, plus 110. They gave you plus money on that? Yeesh! So I cashed on that. Ended the night pretty well with the Pereira. I had some money I put on Pereira, and then obviously the plus 110 by knockout was sweet. So I ended the night a little juicy juice, up 6 units from the card. Right? We missed on Anthony Smith, dog lock. He had a fucking dog shit performance. It didn't even look like he wanted to fight. It was a sparring session. It was a horrible fight. My least favorite fight in the card. I mean, I know MVP and Ian Gary getting a lot of shit. I get that, but this was my least favorite fight in the card. It was a sparring match. No aggression from either guy. They're clowning each other. High five. What are you high fiving for? You guys aren't fucking doing anything. Anthony Smith, lost to 185. I know Delete it's kind of big, but he lost to an 85er. And it wasn't even close, and Anthony likes to run his mouth a little bit about, Pereira's never been taken down and this and that. Dude, Pereira would fucking sleep you the next week, bro. But that was my dog lock. I trusted Anthony Smith, failed me. Sent him home was Peyton Talbot. That was easy. Him by knockout I didn't even play it, but that was just our little game. Christian's more lock was Julian Robertson. He hit on that. His dog lock was Carlos Hernandez. Ray Teixeira looked fantastic, but Carlos Hernandez hung in tough. I thought he was going to get finished. His send him home, Christians, was Yuri Prochazka, and Yuri Prochazka is still waking up. Actually, he's woken up. He's in the Czech forest punching wood and stuff. He's okay. But Diego Lopez, Dan Ige is where we got to kick this thing off. Dan Ige taking the fight on 3 hours notice. I know he's going to get a lot of the headlines, which is rightfully so. He's getting a massage. He's like, yeah, fuck, I'll fight. I go in, weighs in at 165. Takes the fight literally on 3-4 hours notice, which is insane. And he won the 3rd round, and he didn't gas, right? And maybe with a full camp, he could beat Diego Lopez. But Diego Lopez, who hasn't been in the UFC very long, this motherfucker, wow, dude, he accepted a fight with Brian Ortega on short notice. I'm a 3rd ranked guy in the world. I picked Ortega, right? But Diego Lopez is a savage. I'm a fan of him. And they get word after he's already cut weight and went to bed, they get word that Ortega can't get below 150. Can we make it 155? His team goes, yeah. He goes, yeah. I'm sure he's a little pissed off about it. All right, let me rehydrate. Let me eat, whatever. I've already did my weight cut. He's not a tiny 145er, right? He's pretty lean, but he's not tiny. So he gets his weight cut in order and get the rug pulled from under him. And he weighs in at 155 the next day with Ortega. Then he shows up to the arena, and Ortega's like, they said, oh, he might still be able to fight. He's got a fever. We're trying to break the fever. And then the commission stepped in because I think Ortega still wanted to fight, or at least his team said he still wanted to fight with the fever. Then the commission stepped in and said, no way. This dude ain't doing it. This dude ain't fighting. And then Lopez is like, fuck, all right, so I'm out again. But then Hunter Campbell to the rescue goes, you know what? I think I got a guy. And then called Dan Ige. And then we all saw the text on Twitter. Dan Ige, after he got off the phone with Hunter, was like, don't take this opportunity away from me. This is what I've been living for. And he fucking steps up. And Diego Lopez, as much as Dan Ige is a stud, Diego Lopez is right there with everything he had to go through. Number 3 guy in short notice, sure. Already made weight, all right, up a weight class, and then accepting Dan Ige 3 hours before the fight is his absolute savage mode. But Dan Ige did win that 3rd round, and Diego did slow down. Again, I'm not going to hold anything to him. Diego won the fight, 29-28 clean. Looked very good in the first 2 rounds, but what a just absolute bravo performance by both guys. I hope both those guys got paid out of the ass. I know Dana White said that he's going to reward both guys by fighting at the Sphere, which is what everyone wants to do at this point, which is pretty cool. Those guys should be able to do whatever the fuck they want. I hope they got fucking just millies on top of millies for doing what they did, but super impressed by that. That is something that is going to be a trivia question down the road because this isn't going to happen a whole bunch. And phenomenal stuff. And well done by the UFC scrambling like that. And just more important, well done by both fighters for going, fuck it. Yeah, let's go out there. And they didn't make it a sparring match. They went out there, fucking Diego tried to finish him and Dan tried to finish him in the 3rd round. Not like Anthony Smith, Roman Dolidze. They went out there and fucking did the business. Now, the second thing we got to talk about is Alex Pereira. Woo! This fucking guy. You know what I mean? I can't do it sitting down. I can do it pretty good standing up. Man, what a scary individual this fucking dude is, right? Unreal. I know it was short notice against Yuri, and I said my breakdown. I was very confident in Pereira, which I was. Pereira, excuse me. I say Pereira. I'm gonna go back and forth. I'm not as good as John Anik, but this motherfucker is something else, man. He is unreal. We'll talk about him, future of him later, but the performance itself was fantastic. I love that he said he saw Yuri warming up and said, I'm gonna throw a head kick. Head kick was beautiful after dropping him at the bell in the 3rd round. That left hook is the best thing I've ever seen. Technique, flawless, no wind up, can't read it, and the power behind it is unreal. Coming over from the kickboxing, no one kind of expected him to be as good as he is. A lot of credit goes to not only him, but Glover Teixeira, the team around him. He seems humble. He had a rough life growing up, or in his early 20s, I believe he was like, or late teens, early 20s, he was an alcoholic working at a tire shop, and then he becomes one of the best fighters in the world, and he's dedicated to that. Seems like a great father. His sons are always with him, and they seem really supportive of their dad. Like, you're not wheeling your kids around, and they're not cheering like they do in the crowd when you knock them out if you're a piece of shit dad. So it seems like he's a good dad on that front as well. So all around, just fucking, how can you not be a fan of the guy? After he knocked out Yuri, I'm laying in bed still buzzing. Usually I'm fucking exhausted fight night. My ears clogged up, and I'm a little tired, obviously, because I'm a human being. I'm an old fucking man. But my ears clogged up, and I'm laying in bed, and I saw Evan Longoria. Shout out Evan Longoria. When we did our podcast, he had a really sick Peloton shirt on. And I didn't ask him, I should have. Like, why'd you get that shirt on, man? But I found out where it was Merch Labs, and Alex has a collaboration with Merch Labs. Some dope shirts. Ordered 2, right? It's made to order. I really want to wear it on the show today. I want to have a fresh haircut too, but my wife had to go to the mall. So what are you going to do? Yeah, Peloton Pereira. I mean, maybe one of my current favorite fighters right now. What he's doing is unreal. We'll talk about him more. Let's address some of the other performances. Again, Macy Shazan. She looked really good against Mayra Bueno Silva. First round was a brawl. Macy tends to quit at times, didn't quit, took some big shots, got Silva down, avoided the arm bars, landed that beautiful elbow. I'm not mad about it. I thought the fight should have been stopped with the cut, even though it cost me money. That was a deep ass fucking cut right there. And they said they could see her forehead a little bit. The doctor kind of fumbled it. That's a pretty cut. It's your call. And he kept walking away. Or it's a pretty deep cut. It's your call. And he kept walking away. And the ref's like, wait, what are we doing here? That's a pretty deep cut. And then finally the doctor manned up. Was like, no, it's way too deep. I can see her fucking scalp or whatever it is. So, yeah, or her fucking forehead. So they called the fight. But hey, doctor, put some fucking nuts up, bro. Are we fighting or not? It's your decision, guy. But I think they did the right thing. I thought that was a deep ass cut. Some people aren't bothered by cuts. Like Kenny Florian, he don't give a fuck about cuts, right? Some people don't get bothered by cuts. I'm not a fighter. I'm a little baby back bitch. So the cuts bother me. But I thought it was a good decision to stop it after the cut. Ian Gary versus Michael Fenton Page. Thought MVP won. I had money on Michael Fenton Page. So it's green colored glasses for sure. I thought he lost round one. Somebody on Twitter said it could have been a 10-8. If you're giving out really liberal 10-8s, maybe. I mean, Ian did dominate in the grappling. I wouldn't have given it a 10-8 necessarily. But again, if we're supposed to be giving out 10-8s liberally, that could have been a 10-8. So I understand it. When I first read it, I'm like, get the fuck out of here. But the more I was like, you know what? I mean, Aljo versus Peter Yan. Well, I don't know what round, forgot what round that was. One of those rounds could have been a 10-8, making the argument, whatever. Anyway, second round, all MVP. Third round was like 50-50. It was such an even round. And I leaned MVP, even though Ian got the back at the very end. Now, listen, I know we're going to split hairs. People are like, Ian won, he had the back, whatever. Dana thought it was a draw. A lot of people thought MVP. I thought MVP did enough in the fight to win. I understand how the scoring criteria works, and they gave it to Ian. But man, I as an Ian Gary supporter, as a fan of Ian Gary, this was a tough one, right? I mean, I know you got bravado and you're talking and you're trying to, sell a fight. You're trying to maybe get in a fighter's head or whatever, but he doubled down on saying he has the best leg kicks in the MMA next to Pereira, and that he didn't throw any because the right hand comes after it against Venom Page. He baked you into leg kicks, which is true. But it just, the young man's ego, right, is just like he had, as a fan of his skills, and I do think he's very talented. I know a lot of people don't like him because of his ego and in the way he carries himself. I generally do like that. However, I think this young man's going to get humbled one way or another soon. This was not a great performance by him. He claims he's the best striker in the UFC, or one of them. Right? He wants to fight Shavkat, bro. You're gonna get smoked by Shavkat because you can't out grapple Shavkat like you did MVP. You're gonna get boxed up because your stand up looked terrible against MVP. I know MVP's a very awkward fighter. It was just everything he said leading up to the fight. Sometimes those guys don't think that people remember are gonna get held accountable as long as they win the fight, right? Like, they can say whatever they want, but if they win the fight, they're like, fuck it, I was just selling the fight. But I don't buy that. Like, I listened to everything he said before the fight, and then I watched the fight. I thought he lost, and I thought he gave a bad performance. And the MVP, he could have won that third round. He was on top in Ian's closed guard and could have rode that out, and he somehow stood up and then gave a weird transition to his back, and then didn't really try to get Ian off his back. Maybe he thought he had the round secured. Not really sure. Bad fight IQ from MVP. Wasn't his best performance either. I thought his takedown defense was going to be a little bit better, especially against a guy like Ian Gary, who I know has a judo background but doesn't have really a wrestling background. Even though he's working with shoot the box, I thought we were going to get a little bit better of a takedown defense by MVP there. Either way, I thought MVP barely won it. You're not going to hear me crying about it. Either way, bad performance, in my opinion, by both guys. But Joe Pyfer just knocks on Marc-Andre Barriault dead, flatlines him, face plants him. Real power. I said in the Anakin Florian, I thought this guy was going Rambo mode, first blood here, and that's what he did. He had a chip on his shoulder. He's a little bit of a sensitive guy. I get it. I get a lot of really negative comments too. I can't even imagine what a fighter gets after they lose as a big favorite, what kind of comments he gets, but just toughen up, man. You're a fucking pro athlete in the UFC. You got a hot girlfriend, right? You probably got a big old white fucking redheaded dick, right? You know what I mean? Just fucking, who cares what these insignificant people say? But it bothers some people. He said he didn't let the waiter train for like months after Hermanson because of the people ridiculing him. But yeah, listen, I mean, the guy is, he went on Joe Rogan and no one loves Joe Pyfer more than Joe Pyfer. Let's just put it that way. So he's going to be a little bit of a target for these certain things, but he looked fantastic in Marc-Andre. Marc-Andre is a durable dude, and he got face planted in that fight. Andre Philly Cub Swanson. I thought Cub Swanson won that fight. That was a great fight. I thought It was back and forth. It was very, very close, but I did think Cub won that fight. He was stalking Andre the whole time. He landed really hard shots. Andre obviously landed some good shots too. Both guys who are a little bit on the chinnier side of things, both held up really well. But yeah, I lean Cub, but we got Philly. I had Philly in a bet, so we're gonna do that. Charles Jourdain laid an egg. I thought he fought scared. Jean Silva, who missed weight, he's crying, he's stomping. A wide range of emotions from young man. Wide range of emotions from Jean Silva. Big power from this dude. Big power. Big confidence. That fighting head germ is. I mean, they got something going right now. But Charles Jourdain, who's a fantastic striker and has been in the UFC for a long time, fought scared, got dropped and got knocked out. He just didn't fight like his confident self. And maybe he got hit early in that fight by Silva and went, I don't want to get hit again. Something spooked him. He fought terribly, but I'm not going to take anything away from Jean Silva, besides the fact that he missed weight. You got to make weight, bud. I mean, he's a thick dude for 145 too, but you got to make weight. Unacceptable. Peyton Talbot destroyed Giannis Guillemori, one punch. Listen, I know everyone's all over Peyton Talbot. He's minus 1,600 favorite, guys. He fought a bum, right? He fought a crumb guy, right? So I think the sky's the limit for Peyton Talbot. I think he's incredibly athletic, and I think he has real skills and real power, but I'm not over the moon yet. I'm not going to run to the window and be like, this guy's over. He's minus 16. This is what he was supposed to do, boys. Him to win by knockout in the first round was probably minus money. I don't have the line in front of me, but it probably was. But Jillian Robinson looked great ever. Michelle Waterson Gomez, the Karate Hottie retired. Props to you. Big respect for fighting up a weight class your entire UFC career. You were much smaller than a lot of these women. You got some big wins on your record. You're tough. You're durable. You could have got finished out there numerous times against Jillian. You didn't. You went on your shield. Props to you. You look like you have a beautiful family, so go spend time with them. Plus, she's beautiful, so if she wants to do TV and she wants to do different things, there's going to be options for her. But hell of a career for Michelle Waterson Gomez, Karate Hottie. Not a Hall of Famer in my opinion, unfortunately. If there was a 105-pound division, probably a Hall of Famer, but nonetheless, they had a nice little package for her. Andre Arlovski, last fight in the UFC, dud. Martin Booty put up another booty performance. Hated that fight. Carlos Hernandez was ready to shore, confident as all get out. Very interesting fight. Great grappling fight. That's what, if you have a guy who doesn't like MMA because they don't like the grappling, show them that fight. The grappling's phenomenal. Back and forth, both guys, high motor, cardio, and great. And then Vinicius Oliveira versus Ricky Simon. I was all over that, baby. Vinicius Oliveira is just an absolute animal in there. Big for the division. Confident as all get out. And Ricky Simon just doesn't wrestle anymore. You know what I mean? He just doesn't wrestle anymore. And that was like the big takeaway. So the big takeaway from this is I kicked the shit out of Christian. I'm the champ now. My kids stole my fake belt that I had. So I do not have it. And so that's unfortunate. Now we'll move on before we move on. We got two things before we got headlines, which I'm stealing from John Anik. And then I got like a little fun game to end the show with. Anyway. How special is Alex Pereira? What's next for Alex Pereira? I don't want to be a party pooper. I really don't. I don't want to come on these airways and be a party pooper. Everyone wants, excuse me, everyone wants John Alex now. Everyone wants Aspinall Alex. They want Alex to go to heavyweight. Joe Rogan was begging Dana White in the cage. Let him go to heavyweight. Let him go to heavyweight. I would love to see it because I love history and I want a guy to go win 3 belts in 3 different weight classes in the UFC. That'd be phenomenal, right? And Pereira is a big enough dude that he can do that, right? You know, he's tall, adds some size. He's not much smaller than John Jones, even at heavyweight. Aspinall's a big boy. Aspinall's a true heavyweight. Aspinall will never make 205. And John's tweeting about it now. John's kind of tweeting about it. And we're stuck on this John Stipe thing because I think they owe Stipe. I don't think they're going to turn their back. So John Stipe in November, then John's like going to turn around. He's going to make $50 million and might retire. He ain't turning around. He ain't a young man anymore. He doesn't love the sport anymore. So I don't know when this fight's going to happen. But we got a guy waiting in the wings at 205 and Ankalaev that I need to see Pereira fight. I need to see that fight. And so if a gun to my head, would you want Pereira to go up and fight Aspinall at heavy, John Jones at heavy, or him fight Ankalaev within the next 6 months, I'm going to go Ankalaev. If he goes out there and starches Ankalaev, then we're talking heavy. I think he's got to get one more. And I'm being a party pooper because everyone online loves the Alex fight. We got John finally talking about it. Every time they shoot John, hey, why don't you fight Aspinall? Nah, I'm going to retire. I don't want these young guys. I got Stipe, blah, blah. And now he's interested in Pereira because it's a good matchup for him, right? Takes him down, submits him. That's going to be John's game. So now he's curious. And it's going to be a huge fucking fight. He's going to make a ton of money. That's how you end your career. But I got to see Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev before I see him move up to heavyweight. If he moved up to heavyweight and fought Tom Aspinall on the England card at the end of this month, I wouldn't be surprised and I wouldn't be shocked, and I love it and I feed into it or whatever. But if I'm planning out the future for Alex Pereira, I want to see him fight Ankalaev for the 205-pound strap. A guy that has wrestling, a guy that has striking, a guy that people say Alex is avoiding. Let him fight him. He gets past him, then we're talking heavyweight, right? This guy wants to stay active, right? He's not a young dude. He's going to be 36 or 37 this year. So, yeah, give me that over heavyweight. I'm sorry. I'm a party pooper, but again, not that big of a party pooper because you're not going to hear me complaining if they decide to set him to heavyweight. Last thing before we get the headlines here, these fucking new gloves have me motherfucking worried. Pereira got a knockout. He can knock out anybody. Dana White addressed it. He said, I looked at him, I don't know who he was talking to off camera, and I said, man, well, which ones are these gloves? Because the stats are, everyone's talking about them. And he goes, but that doesn't work for this guy. And talking about Alex, and the guy's like, this guy can knock him out wearing blah, 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 blah. Direct quote. All those blah, 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 blahs were in there. And it's true. I'm worried about it. I am. I don't know what it is. It could be a coincidence. A lot of people said all these fights haven't really been towards knockouts, but Pereira knocked him out with a head kick, which there's no glove on that. He dropped him savagely with the left hook, but not a lot of knockouts. And I want to know the stats of how many knockdowns there have been. I was all excited for the new gloves. I was going to buy a pair to put them on my wall. And then I was like, wait a second, maybe I should buy them anyway. Because if they get rid of them and they go back to the old ones, which I don't know if they could do because they have a contract with who they have gloves with, but if they go back to the old ones, I don't know how that would work, but man, like it's scaring me. And now that Dana White's addressed it, and I see a lot of people on Twitter talking about it as well. I've been kind of on this thing for a while. Check the fucking tapes. I'm a little nervous. About the new gloves. I mean, I don't know what they could do. I mean, they could break the contract, go back to the old gloves. I don't know. What are the options? But if we're getting less knockouts and less knockdowns, that concerns me because that's what makes this sport fucking phenomenal is these sick knockouts. And we've had a few with the new gloves, but its sample size is small. I'm not going to freak out just yet, but we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. I'd address it. I'd talk about it. Something on my mind I'm going to talk about. All right, headline, new Denver main event. I was going to go to the Denver card. I was going to go with Christian. This fucking guy goes, hey, I'll get a suite. Yeah, I can get a suite. Doesn't get a suite. I'm just kidding. Christian is a sweetheart of a man. But I was going to go to Denver. I was going to fly out there, stay with Christian, go to the fights. I think they added a couple fights since then. Let's go to, what's that guy's name? You guys are probably, Marcel. Marcel Dorf is a guy who always got the breaking news. So, Miguel Pereira versus Anthony Hernandez at the Sphere just got announced 6 minutes ago. That's a fucking great fight for 185. I'm big on Anthony Hernandez. I'm big on Pereira. That's going to be a tough fucking fight to pick. But no, Montel Jackson versus Damone Blackshear just got added to Denver, and there's one other one. Yeah, Joshua Mann, Charles Johnson is got added to Denver. So Denver's starting to shape a little bit. It's not the greatest card in the world, but new main event. It was supposed to be Rose Namajunas versus Macy Barber. Macy Barber is out for maybe her sickness, illness, injury, not really sure. We're getting Tracy Cortez. That's about what I can do for it. Tracy's beautiful. I think she's an okay talent. She could go out and surprise, but we'll see. I don't know if she's ready yet for a main event. She has some good wins on her record. She has a good wrestling background. She could surprise Rose in the wrestling if Rose isn't taken seriously, yada, yada. Rose has a good guard. Stand up, you got Rose. Rose has been in this position for a million times. I mean, they kind of built this event around her because she's training out of Denver. She's not from Denver, but she's training out of Denver, basically from Denver. And we get Tracy Cortez. Not Rose's fault that Macy pulled out. I was excited for the Macy Barber fight because Macy and Rose, when they get in there, when Rose is on, can be a bad bitch. And that would have been a great fight. Tracy Cortez doesn't tickle me just yet. We're a week away. Right, we were blank this weekend. We're a week away, but on a scale 1 to 10, old BP scale 1 to 10, 4. Right now, 4. I'm sorry, I don't love it. The card itself's a 6, in my opinion. So a 4. What are we gonna do? It's a 4. Khabib and his gym and tax problem. So I am not qualified. That was very sassy of me right there. Whoa. If I wasn't married, you boys studying out something else. I'm not qualified to talk about this, but it is interesting. I saw a couple months ago, Khabib had a tax issue, and he kind of commented and said it's blown out of proportion. It's not a real deal. And then 2 weeks ago or a week ago, one of his fighters at his gym was in like a terrorist group, and he trained at Eagle MMA, and he got killed or something. And then as of a couple days ago, his gym was surrounded by like federal agents in Dagestan, right? And now he got hit with a huge tax lien of like 297 million rubles or something crazy, froze his bank accounts. And then he hasn't made a comment about it, but I think he posted today that he's at like a soccer match in Cologne, Germany. I think that's what it was supposed to be. So I don't know what's going on. A lot of people are saying Conor's right. Conor kind of said this a while ago that he's got some rats in his gym. He's got some people that are doing some shady stuff. I don't really know. I brought it up here because it's very relevant. I have no idea about the tax situation. I know tax stuff can get crazy, and I don't know how American taxes work, let alone Russian taxes, right? But what I read, and take this from Reddit, and this guy seemed pretty smart, okay? This guy seemed smart on Reddit. Basically, Khabib was spending more time in Abu Dhabi in the Middle East than he was he was buying property over there, and he wasn't paying taxes and whatever. And then the Russian government's like, nah, you owe us money, bro. So I don't know how much 297 million rubles is American. Let's look that up. 297 million rubles to USD. That's like the first search. So that is $3,380,843.07. I would assume Khabib has $3 million, just saying. But yeah, that's a nice little tax thing. But I don't know enough about it. I shouldn't talk about it. I feel like if I start really like going off and go whatever, I'm gonna get a fucking dart in my neck or something like that. Because I don't know what I'm talking about. I do know what I'm talking about here. Michael Chandler was offered Islam Makhachev in October. He took a picture of a spear, said he wants to fight Conor at the Sphere, which Dana says we're not going to do that. It's not going to happen. And Chandler goes, should I take on Makhachev or should I take on that? Fucking Islam. I'll put it on the screen right here. Islam roasted him on Twitter. That's some really good comeback from Chandler. But I've been a proponent of Chandler waiting for Conor. That's a payday that you can get behind. That's a fight that's been building. You're going to get at the end of your career, you got a family, take the huge payday. It's not like he's making crumbs if he doesn't fight, and he's going to make money fighting for the title. But you're coming off a loss, bro, and they're offering you a title shot. You take it. Because, right, if you beat Conor McGregor, maybe you get a title shot, but they're handing it over to you. Armin is locked up with a suspension for 9 to 6 months, depending if he does a PSA. They're not know if he's going to be ready in time. Islam wants to stay active. They're looking for a date in October. They offered it to Chandler. You got to take it. You got to leave them because you can take it, win the title, and then fight Conor, which is even bigger, or lose and fight. Either way, you can fight Conor. It doesn't look like Conor's going to fight at all this year. Dana said, no, he's not fighting at all this year. We're looking at 2025. Conor keeps tweeting out, I'm trying to secure a date, yada, yada. I don't know. It seems to me that when they went and Hunter Campbell and some UFC athletic people, trainers, they went to Ireland to visit Conor. I know the pinky toe's broken. I know it hurts. I've broken my toe. I've pretty much broken every toe on my foot before. It does hurt, right? I'm not a fighter. I can't fight with a broken toe. I get it. But Conor's got so much money in the bank. Why would you risk it? He said he's never going to fight not healthy again. Yada, yada. I get it. But also, I feel like since Dana is so reluctant to say, no, he's not fighting this year. Like maybe he's not even saying maybe at the end of the year, maybe not. He's not even teasing anymore. Leads me to believe that when they went and visited him, it was more than just a toe. There was other concerns of why they're not booking Conor, right? And read with that what you will, maybe a little drinky, maybe a little whatever. I don't know. They're just feel like when they went and visited him, yeah, the toes fuck, cool. But Hunter's like, this guy's just not ready to fight mentally, physically, whatever the case may be. I don't know. That's how I read that. But if you're Michael Chandler, take the title fight, bro. Take the title fight. What are we even talking about? You're coming off a loss. You know how many wins in the UFC. Take the title fight. Last little thing, there's no UFC this weekend, but there is a Nathaniel Diaz versus Jorge Masvidal boxing match. I will not pay for it. Sugar Sean O'Malley apparently is like calling it now. Like, I don't know who else is on the card. I thought wasn't Darren Till supposed to be on the card. I don't know who's on the card, but I will watch it. I'll watch it, right? You know, I got my boys on Twitter that sent, when I needed a link a few weeks ago. You know, I got links now, bitch. I got links now. But I will be watching it. I just the MMA fight when they fought, Masvidal pieced him up boxing. Nate looked dreadful boxing as Jake Paul. I mean, looked bad. I'm gonna go Masvidal. I don't know what the line is. I'll look it up later. Maybe I'll put it on the screen, whatever, when I edit this. But I'm leaning Masvidal. I'm not super excited about it. It's off weekend. Speaking of that, I meant to do this at the top of the show. You guys have been rocking with me, right, for a while. The people that have been rocking me for a while know this. If you're new here or whatever, I've had so many different iterations of like my backdrop, the things you see behind me. You go back to when no one was watching me. I moved my desk a million times. I put things up a million times. I hate the backdrop, right? It's black. I wear a lot of black. I get washed out. The sound pads don't look as good as I want. So the next time you see me on here, probably Anakin Flooring, maybe the own show, we're going to have a different backdrop. Okay. So hit me in the comments. This is what this show's about. I didn't do any social media questions that, because I don't want to talk about myself all the time like I did last time, be some fucking narcissistic asshole, right? So I didn't do any questions like that. I did one question, which we'll get to. But let me know if you like this backdrop because this is changing. I got an idea in my head. I'm going to paint. It's all in my head. It's going to work. But this is like the 15th time I've changed. I'm such an OCD nuthead, right? That I can't get it right. I don't know what I'm doing. But I just need just for me, I need to change it for your boy, but I do have a good idea of what I wanted to do. So we'll see. But that's it. Yeah. So the Diaz Masvidal, give me Masvidal. I will be watching, but I will not be paying. You know what I mean? See how that works? All right. So we're going to end the show with these two things. I did a would you rather. These are questions I've been asked, and these are questions I'm going to ask myself. And what I want you guys to do, we're not at 2,000 subscribers yet, but I will tell you what, pound for pound, I have the best comment section in all of MMA YouTube. Look at all the MMA YouTube subscribers. Pound for pound, I have the best comment section. We're not at 2,000 subscribers yet. We're getting there, boys. You guys are doing great. Spreading the word. We're doing it. But we're not there yet. And we have double, triple some of these comments on other states. I mean, not MMA Guru. That guy generates comments, right? But we're killing it out there. And I fucking respect the shit out of you for watching this. Thank you for watching this. So this is what I want. I'm going to ask these questions. I'm going to answer myself. Then I want you to answer in the comments. And let's get the comments going, okay? This is Would You Rather MMA edition, right? 5 questions that I kind of just thought in my head. What would I rather, right? So we'll start off easy. We've kind of talked about this. Would you rather have John Jones fight Francis Ngannou this year? All this is happening this year. This isn't down the road. This is this year. John Jones versus Francis Ngannou in the UFC this year for the heavyweight scrap, right? Would you rather that fight or John versus Poatan Alex Pereira. I'm going John versus Francis. Dana White has those clips of saying Francis is scared of John Jones and all that. You could replay that up. I know Francis is coming off a boxing loss. Doesn't matter. He's also coming off a loss of his son, which is unfathomable. I can't even believe it. He's finally starting to come back and train a little bit. Thank God. And I have nothing against Francis, right? I thought what he did was brave. And maybe, I don't know if I ever tweeted out he fumbled the bag, but I probably fucking said it. But I have now since came to the realization, like, this guy's making money hand over fist, whatever. But John versus Francis with those Dana White clips, and imagine, and I love Dana White, right? I do. I love Dana White. There's a Dana White question on here, and we'll get to, but I love Dana White. And one day I hope for him to be my boss, if we're being real on the real. But John versus Francis, I think, is a bigger fight. I love Pereira, but again, Pereira versus John, I think John just grounds him. He's too good on the ground, right? But John versus Francis, he could do the same thing, but Francis is athletic. It's tough. It's a tough question. Hit that fucking comment. Tell me what you guys think. I'm going John versus Francis. Next up, a little grappling question, because I was talking a lot of grappling with my tattoo artist, Tony, and I love grappling. I do. I watch a ton of grappling. I'm not a grappler. I'm the whitest white belt ever. When I trained and did MMA, jiu-jitsu was like my Achilles heel. It was something that I loved. I'm fascinated with. I watch great grapplers. Marcelo Garcia was one of my favorites, but I did not have the gift. I was not very good, and to this day, not very good. Anyway, I really appreciate grapplers, but what would you rather? Gordon Ryan in the UFC or Craig Jones? Now, Gordon Ryan, the king, the best grappler in the world right now, has beaten Craig Jones. Craig Jones, though, interesting cat, probably number 2 or 3 grappler in the world right now. Unbelievable. Who would you rather have in the UFC? I'm going Craig Jones. Gordon Ryan, listen, everyone in grappling is on steroids, but he also has some stomach issues. He's constantly ill. He's constantly out. He's not competing. He gets UFC. He might fight once. He might never fight, right? The UFC is supporting him kind of. He's doing press conferences. They're inviting him to places. They've showed him on camera. He's a star, and he's the best. He's unbelievable what he does. But in the UFC, and I think both these guys I think would be a very good fighters in the UFC. But he's constantly sick. He's constantly hurt. And I can't have that in UFC. Craig Jones is an interesting cat. I think Craig Jones is, if you follow his Instagram, you follow his YouTube channel or whatever, this dude's in Ukraine during the war. Like, he's going to Thailand and doing a ladyboy con. Like, this guy don't give a fuck. And he's also phenomenal. And I think Craig Jones has more of a tie to MMA because he trains with Volkanovski. Yeah, I think he has maybe a little bit better wrestling than Gordon Ryan. So I want to see Craig Jones. Maybe a little bit of an upset for most people. Most people want to see Gordon Ryan. Now, if we're going both guys healthy, no injuries ever, probably Gordon Ryan, because he is the best. And that's going to be the next wave of MMA jiu-jitsu is, you got guys like Ryan Hall who are leg lock specialists, right? But they're not leg lock specialists like these guys. Like Gordon Ryan and Craig Jones, the way they do their leg locks, which is very dangerous in MMA, is fierce. And we're going to have a guy that comes from one of these jiu-jitsu backgrounds, from the B team, from New Wave, and they're going to come in and they're going to start fucking snatching legs, man. That's going to be the next evolution of MMA jiu-jitsu. But I'm going to go Craig Jones. I'm going to go Craigie Jones. Guaranteed. Here we go. Would you rather? Question number 3. A UFC vet in your city, guaranteed every year you're alive. The rest of your life, I'm guaranteed to have, and this could apply to wherever you live at. I'm guaranteed to have a UFC event. Doesn't have to be a pay-per-view, just any kind of event in Cincinnati every year, or no more ESPN Plus commercials and CL walkouts. This was a very tough question, and believe it or not, I'm going to go no more ESPN commercials. I can't watch anymore. It's the same commercials over and over again. I'll pay more money. Let me see all the walkouts. I don't want to watch a T-Mobile commercial 100 times. That's a tough one. That's because I would go to but it costs a lot of money to go to these fights, especially now that I'm a boozy bitch. I'm going to want to sit cage side or floor seats. That's $1,000 a year. Give me the ESPN Plus commercial free and see all walkouts. I'm tired of not seeing the walkouts. I'm tired of seeing these fucking commercials. I already pay you a fucking price and you're giving me the same commercials over and over and over and over again. I do my fucking head in. That's going to be an interesting question for you guys. I wonder how many people are going to answer that. All right, next one. Would you rather Dana White is replaced by Hunter Campbell now, because we all know Hunter's going to replace him, or Dana White is with UFC for 20 more years? I'm a Dana White fan. Hold on, my wife's texting me. Is that what I want? Yes. Sorry, boys. My wife went to the mall. It is almost 7 o'clock. She's now just leaving. She left at 2. They already ate dinner. She's asking me what I want for dinner. So, okay. Got it. Let me repeat that. Dana White replaced by Hunter Campbell now, or Dana's with the UFC for 20 more years. I'm going 20 more years. I think Hunter Campbell's great. I watched that documentary. He is clearly the next Dana, but Dana's Dana. And I like Dana. I know a lot of people don't like Dana, this and that, whatever, but I like him. What he's done for the sport, what he's done for MMA, that's why I just basically said for the UFC. The guy could have retired years ago. He hasn't. He loves it. He has a passion for it. He's very good at it. Again, he's controversial. People don't like him, blah, blah, blah. But I would take Dana White for 20 more years over Hunter Campbell. But I think Hunter Campbell is a suitable replacement. We all wondered. I always wondered, who's going to fucking replace Dana White? Remember Joe Silva back in the day? It ain't going to be fucking Joe Silva. It ain't going to be, the matchmaker, Sean Selby. They're just not fit for that. I think Hunter Campbell is the guy after watching the documentary for sure. All right. And this was my poll question on Twitter. Fight Francis or John Jones for $1 million. So I got a lot of comments. I'm just going to read them. I'm not going to put them on the screen. Let me see what the poll results are. I kind of did this late. Okay. So Wednesday takes question for $1 million. Who would you rather fight? John Jones, Francis Ngannou. 72% said John Jones. And that's what I'm going. I'm fighting John Jones. Francis Ngannou would knock your head in the 5th row. John Jones may knock your head in the 5th row, but he'd take you down and fucking break your arm. I get my head broke. Or I get my arm broken for $1 million. I don't know if I get my head knocked off for $1 million. Francis, get it over with quick. John will elbow you through the canvas with a choke. I'm taking John. Francis, he has no pop. Francis, 1 punch. So a lot of people actually, when they commented, not just the voters, voted or commented on taking just one shot from Francis. Interesting. Again, all these questions, I want you in the fucking comments hammering it. Last thing. I was watching Bussin' with the Boys. Shout out Bussin' with the Boys. Their little documentary. They did Tight End U. And I'm a big fan of Barstool and big fan of Bussin' with the Boys. They asked a question, which I have thought about numerous times. They asked a question to all the tight ends they interviewed. What's the largest animal you can take down with your bare hands? A lot of guys said dog, pig. Some guys said silverback, whatever. So like Brian fashion, I overthought it and I did it big. I went big with it, right? So here's my answer. Say the animal and you get put in a room, a big enough room for both you and the animal, and one person comes out alive. You have no tools, you have no weapons. It's you versus the animal, right? And for every pound the animal weighs, you get $1,000. So say you're like, hey, I can fuck up a pig, 80 pound pig, kill it, whatever, get a quick 80K. I can do a 60 pound dog, 100 pound dog, whatever it is, right? No rules, to the death, $1,000 a pound an animal, locked in a room, people comes outside. Winner comes outside. I'm going fucking giraffe. Yeah. How much does a giraffe weigh? Real quick. How much does oh my God, I can't spell. How much does a giraffe weigh? They're 14 feet tall and they weigh up to 1,500 pounds. So that's $1.5 million. I will fuck up a giraffe. They're not predators. They're sweethearts. My kids feed them at the zoo with their long ass tongues, eating a little lettuce or whatever. I would jump on its back, shimmy up the neck, and rip eyeballs out. We're talking to the death. Choke him out, stomp on his head, shove my hand up through his ass, rip his heart out. I don't care. We're talking for the death for $1.5 million. I'm doing anything, and I'm fucking up a giraffe. No one said a giraffe, right? There's guys saying silverback, pop your head off, no problem. What are we talking about here? A giraffe weighs up to 1,500 pounds. You ever seen a giraffe fight? It is fucking throw their necks at each other, right? I'm murdering a giraffe with my bare hands. I'm killing it, and I'm walking out of that room, and I'm going, give me my money. That's my answer. Giraffe. Hit in the comments if you think I could beat a giraffe, and what would your animal be, right? $1,000 per pound. You're locked in a room big enough for you and your animal. You come out, you get the money, you got to kill the fucking thing. I'm taking giraffe all day long, right? I can fucking bob and weave that neck. You know what I mean? Oh, you swing your neck at me? Oh, slip, oh, slip, oh, slip. No problem. All right, that's it. That's the Wednesday Takes. 50 minutes seems good. 50 minutes seems good. Looks like I'm not eating dinner till 8 o'clock tonight. Thank you, wife. But yeah, that's the show. That's the show. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the support on all social medias, all the comments, everything like that. Obviously, you'll be watching this on July 3rd. Have a happy July 4th. Be careful with fucking fireworks, boys. Be careful with fireworks. I've done a lot of stupid things in my days with fireworks. Surprised I have all my fingers. But you guys be careful. July 4th, happy holiday, happy Independence Day. Let's fucking go.